What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Roster Watch. I am Cody Carpentier. You can find me on Twitter at Carpentier NFL. And today we're going to be going through some more mock drafts using the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet. You can find it at RosterWatch.com. If you're a pro or premium member, the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet, the 3 simple rules to help you get fantasy gold. Mark the player off the chart as they're drafted. Select the highest remaining player. And if there is a tie, take your favorite player. Again, it's August 22nd. It's draft season. We have a lot of drafts coming up this weekend, and then you have mega draft weekend coming up here. I think it's September 2nd and 3rd is the weekend before the NFL kicks off. We have football this weekend. I think the last game is on Monday Night Football game for preseason week 3, and then we're going to have like 12 days off before the kickoff, September 7th, Kansas City hosting the Detroit Motor City Kitty Lions. I can't wait. Season's here, baby. And if you are in need of help for your drafts, or if you're not, you just need a guide to walk through. The Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet has it for you. RosterWatch.com. We're your boys for that. Yesterday, Alex had on Dave Richard on the Roster Watch podcast. He's going to have another show coming up on this Friday. And then today, I'll be live doing a mock draft, and then as well on Thursday. So we're live every day of the week, including the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 3 to 5 Eastern on Sirius XM, channel 87, the fantasy channel, talking all things fantasy, talking all things preseason football, getting you ready for the season. So let's get this draft underway. We're going to do a Superflex today. For Superflex, we use half PPR on the good old Fantasy Pros mock draft simulator. We're going to be drafting from the, let's do from the 9-hole today. 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 super flex, 7 bench. We're going to be using all the ADPs from Yahoo, RTS, and Sleeper. And we're going to use Superflex version 7.0. You can find that over at rosterwatch.com. Like I said, 7.0 for Superflex, working on 8.0 right now for PPR. And then I think it's version 3.2 for the standard and half PPR cheat sheets as well. Let's get this draft underway. Let me pull up my little handy dandy notebook over here. And if you are in the chat, thank you for tuning in here on YouTube on this fine Tuesday afternoon. We'll be live again on Thursday as well at noon. And if you are looking for us to pick from a certain spot so you can kind of get the idea, maybe you don't have the Hall of Fame package on Fantasy Bros, just jump in the chat and say, hey, Cody, I'm drafting from the 6-hole. I'm drafting from the 3-hole. And we'll run through from your spot because why not? That's fun, right? All right, so I'm going to put the roster up here so you can see our best player. You can see our top ranked. And then I got to have my handy-dandy master cheat sheet over here on the side so I don't mess anything up. All right, so the first couple picks off the board just so you can hear it out. Patrick Mahomes goes 101, Josh Allen 2, McCaffrey 3, Jalen Hurts 4, Justin Jefferson 5, Austin Eckler 6, Jamar Chase 7, and Justin Fields goes 8. We're on the clock here at the 109, and that gives us Lamar Jackson. Nick Chubb is 1 spot below him, and Tyreek Hill is 1 spot as well below Lamar Jackson. We're going to go ahead and take Lamar as our QB1 from the 9-hole right here. We're going to come right back around to the 204 and all the picks between Lamar Jackson and now we're Herbert, Burrow, Kelsey, Kupp, Lawrence, Bijan, Robinson. And that leaves us still the same 2 guys that were below Lamar. In the last iteration, that was Nick Chubb, and that was Tyreek Hill. So we get an option here. Who do you like? Do you like Nick Chubb better? Do you like Tyreek Hill better? I am going to go ahead and take Nick Chubb. Half PPR, give me Nick Chubb. All right, we're back on the board here at 309, and Amon-Ra St. Brown almost makes it back to us, just nearly almost makes it back to us. He goes off at the 308. So now we're gifted with Travis Etienne or Garrett Wilson as an option right here. I'm going to go ahead and take Garrett Wilson because I like Garrett Wilson this year with the Rodgers in this offense. I already got a running back in Nick Chubb. I'm going to go ahead and take Garrett. Oh. You know what? No. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take Travis Etienne. Let's do it. All right, 404. Garrett Wilson went 2 picks later. He went off at 311 right after Anthony Richardson. And then in round 4, 401 starts out Joe Mixon, 402 Chris Olave, 403 Jahmyr Gibbs. We're on the clock at 404. And Aaron Jones is at the top of the board. Do we get an option between him and Devonta Smith, or is it just Aaron Jones? It is an option. So we're going to go ahead and take Devonta Smith here. We could have taken Garrett Wilson last time. Instead, we took ETN. Now we're going to get the option. We're going to go wide receiver. and get our wide receiver 1 in Devonta Smith up there in Philadelphia. All right. Kirk Cousins goes 507, Miles Sanders 508, and we're back on the clock here at the 509 with Keenan Allen and James Conner. Keenan Allen is 2 spots ahead of James Conner, so we're going to take Keenan Allen as our wide receiver 2. We haven't heard a lot out of Keenan Allen with the Chargers right now, but that's because him and Mike Williams have been kind of low-key. All you've been hearing about is Quentin Johnston. I think when the season rolls around and all 3 of these cats are on the field together and healthy, which I think is why you haven't heard much about Keenan or Mike, is they're trying to keep these dogs healthy. Because this offense is going to be hellaciously potent if they can get Quentin Johnston in his singular role, Big Mike out there in the slot, Keenan Allen outside, Austin Eckler out of the backfield, and Herbert. This might be the year Herbert takes that big step forward. I'm excited about the Chargers, but aren't we always excited about the Chargers? I don't know. 604 here. Alvin Kamara goes 601. James Conner 602. Drake London 603. Back on the clock at the 604, and Geno Smith is staring us right in the eyes. He's 1 step ahead of DeAndre Hopkins and 2 ahead of David Montgomery, and the ADP says Geno as well as the ultimate draft cheat sheet. Here's our Superflex. Our QB2 is Geno Smith. And like always, David Montgomery seems to be up there because one of our favorite guys, he'd be up there and then fall to that next spot right where you think you can get him. So Montgomery is the pick right here. If you're looking at the ultimate draft cheat sheet, is on the same line as Christian Watson and Jared Goff. And you notice neither of those names are on the board. So we're going to go ahead and take David Montgomery right here as our running back 3 behind Nick Chubb and Travis Etienne. He currently slates in as our flex. Round 8 kicks off with Kyler Murray going 801. I don't know about that one. Brandon Ayuk goes 802 and DeAndre Swift 803. Mike Williams, who was also above on the last pick with David Montgomery. Mike Williams falls to us again here. Do we have an option between Mike Williams? Obviously now we don't have an option because Mike Evans is the one below him. So we're going to go ahead and take Mike Williams. That gives us both the Charger wide receivers. And we're going to fall down here to the 909 just after back-to-back Washington Commanders, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. 909, we're on the board here. We could use a tight end. We could maybe use a receiver that's not on the Chargers. And we're asked to take Brennan Cooks or Darren Waller. I'm going to go ahead and take Darren Waller right here because we need that tight end. And my rule is if you don't get Darren Waller, I'm just going to wait till Hayden Hurst. And the ultimate draft cheat sheet agrees. Waller is right there. Let's take Waller here. And then with the 10:04, it says Jordan Love, Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook, or George Kittle. And Jordan Love looks to be the only player on the list. So we're going to take QB3 right here, and we'll be done with the quarterback position. That gives us Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, and Jordan Love. Come down to the 11:09. We already have our tight end in Waller, so we're going to go ahead and take Kendre Miller, who, again, 2 weeks ago, it was like, knee sprain, he's dead. He's not going to be out for till week 1, maybe. And then he comes out last week and touches the ball, 7, 8 times? Came over for the Saints, scores a touchdown, has a long reception. Come on, guys. It's Kendre. It's always been Kendre. We're going to continue to be in on Kendre. 12:04, you know who it is. Round 12 every time, Roschon Johnson. Again, he's had 76 yards. I believe it's 76 yards rushing this year in the preseason, and 75 have come after contact. So I don't know if that's more towards Roschon, or we should say that's more towards the offensive line sucking, but Roschon, he's been a menace when it comes to breaking tackles and pushing through and finishing runs. We'll take him as our running back 5, so that gives us Nick Chubb, Travis Etienne, David Montgomery, Kendre Miller, and Roschon Johnson as the running backs on this squad. Kip, I see you in the chat. Thank you for popping in. Awesome. Getting these mocks in, getting these reps in, just seeing what these teams look like is such a big I think it's such a big part of the offseason, being able to just get a feel for how these draft rooms kind of are unfolding and kind of what to expect. And I know it is a simulator, so it's not going to be verbatim what you see in your drafts, but this is about as good as a practice rep as you're going to ask for when it comes to getting ready for your season. All right, so we're back on the board, 13:09. And as you know, we already have our 3 quarterbacks. So Jaylen Warren is right there. Do we have an option between him and anybody else? It looks like we do not. Well, we do. We can go Warren or Njoku, but I think we want to take Warren here. And that'll be our last running back number 6. Again, Chubb, Etienne, Montgomery, Miller, Roschon, Warren. If that doesn't define what Roster Watch is all about with the running back position, I don't know what is, other than taking Tyjae Spears right here. That could definitely be it too. But David Njoku falls again to round 14. So let's go ahead and take tight end 2. They're begging us to do it. The ADP is 102. We're getting him here around 14 at 160 overall. That's a hellacious value on Mr. Njoku. And then we do need to grab one more wide receiver because we only have 3 currently in Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. And now at the wide receiver, the last player on the roster will be Van Jefferson from the Los Angeles Rams, and then we'll auto-draft the defense and the kicker. And we get a 97 out of 100. Andrew Erickson and Derek Brown give us 98s. Again, this squad is dynamic. Lamar Jackson, Nick Chubb, Travis Etienne, Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Darren Waller, David Montgomery, Geno Smith, Mike Williams, Jordan Love, Kendre Miller, Roshan Johnson, Jalen Warren, David Njoku, and Van Jefferson. All right, let's go back here and let's run back a second mock. Shout out to Monda Green in the chat, a complete donkey. Thank you for jumping in the chat, though. Why run a mock draft, he asks. Well, maybe it's because we want to show the users kind of how dynamic and how important that the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet is there. Monda Green, you maniacal donkey. I left my brain at Player Profiler. Try again. Why don't you jump in here and draft against me? You would never do that. You don't have the sack to do that. Subscribe to Roster Watch. Get the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet and shut your mouth. We're going to get back in here. Superflex drafting, half PPR. We're going to pick from the 101 for a little practice. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, and 1 superflex for the good people. 7 bench spots using the ADPs against Yahoo, RTS, and Sleeper. And again, we're going to be using Ultimate Draft cheat sheet 7.0 for Superflex. We're going to draft from the 101 here today. And the reason I'm going to draft from the 101 is because tonight I'll be competing in the Deep End Invitational, something that Mondegrin in the chat has never been invited to, but I am. So I'm going to be drafting from the 101, and I'm going to be drafting against your Player Profiler friends, and I'm going to be dominating the hell out of this draft. So Mondegrin, if you want to keep talking, why don't you jump in that chat tonight at 8 p.m. and come cheer on your most favorite analyst. You're staring him right in the eyes right now. So thank you, Mondegrin. Come check out the squad. All right, so we're going to go top-ranked players, roster, and using the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet at Roster Watch, we're going to take Josh Allen from the Unski because he's been the best quarterback in fantasy the last 3 seasons, and there's been no question about that. With the 212, we come back. Taylor goes 210, Derrick Henry goes 211, and Tony Pollard goes 209. So 3 running backs going right into our pick here at 212, allowing the one and the only Amon-Ra St. Brown to fall to us at the 212. Going to go ahead and throw him on the squad. And with the next pick, it gives us A.J. Brown or Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is 1 spot below A.J. Brown. We're going to take A.J. Brown. So we get our stud quarterback for Superflex, and we get 2 absolute units at the wide receiver position. A guy that I think has potential to be wide receiver 1 overall in fantasy in Amon-Ra St. Brown. And another guy that I've talked to multiple reporters that have been to Eagles camps say A.J. Brown has taken yet another step up in an offense where we saw him go for 1,100 as a rookie. We saw him go for 1,400 last year on a Super Bowl competing team with Jalen Hurts. If he took another step up, we're talking about some lethal top 5 type of shit for fantasy football, and I can't wait to see this. All right, we're sitting here at the 412. We're looking at Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, and Anthony Richardson. So we're going to go ahead and take Calvin Ridley first off this board. And with the second pick, we're gifted DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, or do we just go ahead and bastardize the cheat sheet and take Anthony Richardson here because we started out 1 quarterback, 3 receivers, and we have a long wait to go until that turn. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, and I've seen some comments before, don't bastardize the cheat sheet. That's the number 1 rule. Don't bastardize the cheat sheet. But if I'm sitting in a draft and I'm sitting in these options and I have 3 studs like Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, I'm going to go ahead and take my super flex, and that name is Anthony Richardson here at the 501. I apologize, Alex, for bastardizing this cheat sheet and taking what might be my favorite player in the 2023 NFL season for fantasy football. I'm telling you what, Anthony Richardson is going to eat. I was just doing some research on Cam Newton, on Lamar Jackson, on Jalen Hurts in their first seasons as starters, all finishing in the top 5 in fantasy at the quarterback position. Sign me up. All right, we're back on the clock here at the 612. Christian Watson goes 608, DJ Moore 6'9, DeAndre Swift 6'10, and Matthew Stafford 6'11. We're up at 6'12 with the option of DeAndre Hopkins or David Montgomery. I'm going to go ahead and take DeAndre Hopkins right here, get that fourth receiver. I feel really good about this one. And then we're going to take David Montgomery at the 701, get running back one to David Montgomery. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, going 0 RB until the 7th round, 701. But we're here. We're doing it. 8-12, Mike Evans goes off the board. Hollywood Brown goes off the board. And we're going to take Brennan Cooks as our wide receiver 5 because we're going to trust the cheat sheet. And they give us Antonio Gibson as our RB2 here at 901. And I'm okay with this because I know what is coming right down the tracks in round 12 and round 13. All right, so round 10, we could go Jordan Love and get that QB3. Do you think we need a QB3 in Superflex? Probably. Or you got Zay Flowers also sitting here on the board. We like Zay Flowers a lot. He's across the same line as Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook, and George Kittle. Let's go ahead and take Jordan Love and be done with this QB3 thing. I know we probably won't need him in the long run if everything goes to plan, but in fantasy, you know what they say, it's 95% luck and 5% what you think you know. And we think we know about Anthony Richardson, but we might not know what we think we know about Jordan Love. And if we do know what we know, then guess what? We're going to be good shape come December 24th when we have those championship rings around our fingers. 1101 says Zay Flowers, Elijah Moore, Sky Moore. This is the best area to draft in right now. I love these 3 guys. Any of 3 of these guys could be on the squad, and I'd be down for it 100%. Let's go ahead and take Zay Flowers to 1101. And with the turn pick here, round 12, pick 12, Kendre Miller and Roschon Johnson, back-to-back Billies. Come on down, join the squad. I love this. And then we're going to be up here at the 14-12, and we're going to get Tyja Spears. So this literally ran about as pure as you could be for a 0 RB squad. I know people have questions about Antonio Gibson. David Montgomery is going to get his lion's share, I think, at least for the first half of the season. And then we have Kendre, Roschon, and Tyja to end out the running back position. We'll take a tight end right here with the name of Dalton Kincaid. Ooh, Hayden Hurst is also right there. I'm gonna have to yell at Alex. We got to get Hayden Hurst bumped up a little bit. But we're gonna take Kincaid because he's glorified wide receiver in this offense, and we're gonna auto draft a defense and a kicker. And they go ahead and they give us an 87 because they don't know what they're talking about. The squad's dank. And Derek Brown agrees. Josh Allen, David Montgomery, Antonio Gibson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Dalton Kincaid at tight end, Calvin Ridley at flex, Anthony Richardson at superflex, DeAndre Hopkins, Brennan Cooks, Jordan Love, Zay Flowers, Kendre Miller, Roschon Johnson, and Tyja Spears at the the running back position to close it out. I'm going to go ahead and do one more of these drafts. And we're going to go, we went from the 9, we went from the 1. Now let's go from the 4. See what we can get here. Half PPR, like I said, snake, 1 flex, 1 super flex. All the same rules apply. And we're going to go super flex right here. Top ranked players, show the roster. And then we got the ultimate draft cheat sheet up on the side. And we're at the 104, and Allen falls to us because Patrick Mahomes goes 1, Justin Jefferson 2, Jalen Hurts 3. We got Josh Allen at the 104. Come on down, join the squad, and we'll be on the clock right here again in round 2. Just before the 209 goes Justin Herbert, the questionable Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and Nick Chubb. The 209, we're given Tony Pollard or CeeDee Lamb as an option. And we're going to go ahead and take Tony Pollard right here. Take our running back 1 out of Dallas. At the 304, a guy we just took in the last draft, we took A.J. Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're going to go ahead and take Amon-Ra St. Brown right here. Again, I already talked about him in Detroit being an alpha dog with top 3 upside. I think his floor is like wide receiver 12, 13 right now as it currently looks in this offense. All right, we're on the clock here at 409. DK Metcalf goes 407. Calvin Ridley, 408. And now we're up 409. Again, we have Josh Allen, Tony Pollard, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we're pretty even across the board. And now we're asked to take Aaron Jones. And the next best guy is T. Higgins, who's 2 steps below him. So we're going to go take running back 2, Aaron Jones. And as we roll back around, Cam Akers goes 503. That's a little too rich for my taste for Cam Akers, but that leaves us Dameon Pierce or Deebo Samuel. And Dameon Pierce is one spot ahead of Deebo, so we're going to take that third running back. So you can kind of see drafting from these different spots how this Ultimate Draft cheat sheet kind of just wires you right through a draft. We drafted from the 101, and we took 0 RB to round 7, and now we're drafting from the 104, and we got 3 running backs through the first 5 rounds. It's just interesting how it kind of walks you through these drafts so simply, so easily, so smoothly. We're now on the board 609. Rachaad White goes 608, Russell Wilson 607, and Geno 606. And the interesting one, Javonte Williams goes 605. If you haven't listened to Dave Richard with Alex Dunlap yesterday on the RosterWatch YouTube channel or on podcast, you need to go listen to that. I think it was about the 28-minute mark. Dave had a great 5-minute monologue about Javonte Williams being a bigger question than what we've used over the last couple months, especially, we talk about the ACL, but him being back, and 5% of his runs in his career, 5% have been longer than 15 yards down the field. Not a lot. It's only a handful of carries, handful of touches that have been long downfield past 15 yards, even past 10 yards. So the dynamism was always a question with Javonte. Now he's coming off this historic ACL injury, that ACL, MCL, that we weren't sure in the first place if he was going to be ready for week 1. Now he's playing already in the preseason. Again, remember, J.K. Dobbins had the same injury last year. He came back, and then he sat out for 8 weeks because he was banged up again. So we hope this is not just a mirage, but Dave Richard, hey, was on yesterday with Alex, and he definitely brought up a couple points that were beyond interesting, I would say. So we're at the 609. We need a receiver. Montgomery's there as well. You look at the ADP differential. It's 15 spots between 73 and 88 from Watson to Montgomery. They're on the same line on the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet. So we're going to take Watson and cross our fingers that Montgomery falls. And he does not. He does not fall. Montgomery goes 701, followed by Matthew Stafford and George Kittle. So we're at the 704, and we're gifted Tyler Lockett, wide receiver from Seattle. So that gives us Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, and Tyler Lockett at the wide receiver position. Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce at running back, and only Josh Allen at quarterback. So we still need that quarterback 2, and it looks like a quarterback 3 in Superflex. The 809 is here, and that gives us Khalil Herbert at the running back position, and he's a couple spots ahead of above Brandon Cooks. So we're going to go ahead and take Khalil Herbert, running back 4. And then at the 904, I'm going to overstep Brandon Cooks and take Darren Waller right here because we need that tight end. And I don't want to fall all the way to the end. And I'm getting pretty good cost right here. ADP of 69. We're getting them here at 100 for Darren Waller. We're going to take him. I think we're going to get quarterback 2 right here, and that is Jordan Love at the 1009. That comes a couple spots after Treylon Burks, who goes 1005, Cortland Sutton, Quentin Johnston, Juju Smith-Schuster here in the round 10. Jordan Love here at the 1009 to be quarterback 2. And then we're gifted with Sky Moore. Sky Blizzy, man, round 11 still on Sky Moore with an ADP of 145. We have him ranked about 101. We're picking here at 124. Sky Moore is going to be one that I continually do not understand, him falling and falling and falling in drafts. But the guy below him, Kenny Pickett. Do you take Kenny Pickett as your third quarterback, knowing that you're going to get a couple of these other receivers that we really like in the next round and running backs that we like in the next round? Or do you just bet on it being a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud? Well, we're gifted this option with the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet of picking Sky Moore or Kenny Pickett. And even though Sky Moore is my favorite player, Kenny Pickett's ADP is 78. We're picking here at 124, and my quarterback 2 is Jordan Love. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kenny Pickett because I'm not dumb and I want to have a balanced and a smart roster. Go ahead and take Kenny Pickett here at the 1104. And down to the 1209 gives us Kendre Miller. So we now have our 3 quarterbacks. We're done there. We have Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, Khalil Herbert, and Kendre Miller at running back. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett at receiver. We need a couple more receivers, and we have our tight end in Darren Waller. But first, we're going to take Roschon Johnson here at the 1304. And in round 14, Tyjae Spears is sitting there right at the top. But we already got our 6 running backs, and we kind of need a couple of receivers. So we're going to go ahead and take the best receivers off the board, which is Zay Jones, and the last one, which is Van Jefferson. and that fills out the roster. And now we auto draft for defense and kicker. And we get a 97. We're back to 97 in this draft. See what the Fantasy Pros experts give us. Derek Brown and Andrew Erickson give us 98s. Josh Allen, Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, Darren Waller, Dameon Pierce, Khalil Herbert, Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, Kendre Miller, Roschon Johnson, Zay Jones, and Van Jefferson. If you don't like these squads, I don't know what to tell you, because these squads, they come to hammer, they come to party, and they come to win championships. You can find the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet over at RosterWatch.com. If you're a pro or a premium member, be sure to tune in and tap in on Tuesdays and Thursdays between now and the season kicking off, because I'm going to continue to do these mocks despite the haters in the chat, because they can't draft, and that's why they're here, and we all know that. So if you got a draft today, if you got a draft this weekend, if you got a draft next week, remember one thing: use the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet. If you got any questions, reach out to us on RosterWatch.com. In any of the articles and any of the posts, you can comment on Twitter at RosterWatch, at Carpentier NFL. You can leave a comment. You can DM for me on Patreon.com/executives. You can come tap into me and Maddie. You can ask questions. We will answer them. We will not answer douchebags in the chat, but we will answer your questions on RosterWatch.com, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Shout out to you guys, and be sure for one thing, to draft Kendre Miller and draft our good friend Roschon Johnson.